Employee resource groups address the three biggest problems that organizations experience when they try to become more inclusive. Keep watching to learn why. I'm Dr. Jonathan Ashong-Lamptey, and I'm on a mission to help 1 million people like you make your workplace more inclusive. Get your pen and paper ready, because you're going to learn why employee resource groups address the three biggest problems that organizations experience when they're trying to become more inclusive. I call these problems the 3 Ps: people, potential, and performance. And if you don't address each and every one of these problems, then the science says you can't have an inclusive organization. To learn more, take a look at my 3 biggest problems video. Before we go any further, I want to explain what an employee resource group actually is. An employee resource group is a voluntary group of employees within an organization that share common values, common interests, or a common social identity. Take a second and think about that. Common values, common interests, or a common social identity. Now, they're known by so many different names: affinity groups, staff networks, business resource groups. To be honest, I don't care what you call them, but I really want you to think of them as a voluntary group for people who have common values, common interests, and a common social identity. During my PhD at the London School of Economics, part of my thesis was to explore how employee resource groups enhance the careers of their members. That means that I've got evidence to show how this actually works. So the first thing to know is about people. Organizations find it difficult to engage people who are currently excluded. Employee resource groups are able to directly engage people who are excluded and marginalized. This is something that organizations, that leaders are unable to do by themselves. And that's really powerful. The second thing is potential. Organizations find it difficult to create a culture of inclusion where everybody is able to reach their potential. Employee resource groups, just by existing, are able to change the narrative of what it's like to be a successful person within an organization. And that, as part of one of many things, is able to change the culture of an organization. The third and final thing is about performance, the so-called business case for diversity. Now, this shows up in a number of ways, but let's be crude. Let's talk about money. Employee resource groups can make you millions, and they can save you millions. Now, you're going to want some examples. Well, Coca-Cola, their business resource groups help to generate sales through Asian American retailers. Novartis Pharmaceuticals saved millions in market research fees because of their groups. And General Motors, they won an award because they identified potential billions in revenue because of their business resource groups. So what I'm saying to you is that employee resource groups shouldn't be thought of as a nice to have. It's just a way of doing business. So let's wrap this up. What are the key messages here? Employee resource groups address the 3 biggest problems that organizations experience when they try to become more inclusive. And these are: people. Employee resource groups engage people who are directly excluded in your organization. Potential. Employee resource groups help to cultivate a culture of inclusion that allows everyone to reach their potential. And 3 is performance. Employee resource groups can help you save millions or make you millions. So how do the 3 Ps show up in your organization? What are your employee resource groups doing? Do yourself a favor and make a comment below. Rate yourself from 1 to 10. 1 is low and 10 is high. So if you say performance 10, that means you're doing a great job of articulating a business case for diversity in your organization. If you say people 1, then that means you need to do a lot more work to engage the people who are currently excluded in your company. If you want to learn more, make sure you subscribe and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss out on anything new. Leave your questions, comments, and thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next episode.